So welcome back to the stage, Murray Weed.
Thank you, Laura. Good morning, everybody. Now, if you'll look at your materials and your agenda for the day, you'll see that before noon, you're going to be, many of you don't know this about me, but before I came to the Vinson Institute, I practiced law for 20 years. I was a local government attorney. That's how I got involved with the Institute and ACCG and GMA and being involved in politics. Before noon today, you will be addressed by four lawyers. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So that's the morning you have in store for you today. So that's what you've got to look forward to. And I want you to know that I am the most exciting of that group. So you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. The commissioners from Chatham County are going to appreciate this too. When Oglethorpe founded the colony in Savannah, there were two things particularly he wanted to make sure didn't happen. He wanted to make sure that there was no slavery, and he wanted to make sure there were no lawyers. So that's where you're at this morning. What I'm going to talk about briefly will be the ACCG Lifelong Learning Academy. And this is the basis. It's the foundation for your continuing education and your basic education requirements for the entire time that you're a commissioner. The idea behind the academy is that it will give you an opportunity to always be engaged in training. And from our end as instructors, and for ACCG as our training partner, we wanted to make sure that together we were able to make modifications to training and to deal with interesting issues that came up along and along. So it won't be the same thing continually. It'll be constantly changing in a constant state of flux, but at the same time, we wanted to give you an opportunity to have very clear pathways about accomplishment and towards accomplishment. This is what it looks like. The core certification's got 9 required courses, and then we've broken it down into specialty level certifications. So if there's a particular subject that you're interested in, let's say economic development, after you've been introduced to the subject through the core, you can then specialize in economic development classes, if that's what you want to do. And many of the classes between one specialization will cross over into another specialization. One thing that the Training Assessment Committee of ACCG was absolutely committed to, and that was commissioners just like you. They were absolutely committed to having a continuing education requirement. They felt that what you do is so important and so important to the people of the state of Georgia and your local communities that they wanted to build into the system a requirement that you stay fresh, that your information and your knowledge keep current. And they've done that by having this certification maintenance requirement. And that's 18 hours annually. Now, the 18 hours, the committee that developed this program wanted to make sure they wanted people like you to do exactly what you're doing now. And by that I mean to say, you got to this position because you were part of the PTA, or you were a Boy Scout leader, or you were in charge of the community theater. You were actually out in your community doing what you needed to do to make your individual communities a better place, to make your lives for people better where you live. ACCG, in their wisdom, wanted to give you credit for that. And so part of the 18-hour maintenance requirement, you can get all of the hours you need to maintain your certifications solely through ACCG programming without doing anything else in your community. But we knew that you were going to be doing things in your community anyway. You're going to be going to the Kiwanis meetings. You're going to be going to the Rotary Club. You're going to be participating in those things because that's who you are. That's how you got here. So part of the 18 hours, 6 of the 18 hours can come from other approved leadership programs, including things like commission planning sessions. This is a diagram of what the program looks like, and I just want to point out a couple of interesting things. At the top level, that is the core curriculum at the very beginning. That's the core certification, and that is 9 classes. And I'm going to show you another detailed slide about what some of those classes are particularly. The next level is a specialty level. So once again, for example, if you were interested in general county government law, you could then perhaps you discovered that you were really particularly interested in citizen engagement as a subcategory. After you finish your core certification, then you can specialize in this area of citizen engagement. And in that area, there will be 8 courses that go underneath that area. So you have your basic 9 courses at the top, and then you yourselves can choose a specialization and you can pursue that further. One thing we did particularly was we wanted to make sure that, and Ross brought this up yesterday, quality of life and social issues, the committee thought that was important too. And obviously people in this audience felt it was important, and that's reflected by the decisions that were made by your representatives on the training committee. They thought it was important enough that, frankly, an entire specialty line was created to address those issues. If you'll see that everything works together in a flow, the core certification is required, and that will get you to the specialty level certifications. And then in order to maintain your certifications, we mentioned this before, it's 18 hours a year, all of which can be gained from ACCG programming. However, we've built in a structure because we want to kind of reward you for doing what you do naturally and reward you for the work that you're doing out in the field, in addition to just governing. This is another diagram of the core certification. And I'm not going to read all the different titles, but just to highlight a few things, you'll notice we've got Economic Development 1. And then if you're interested, you can specialize in Revenue and Finance. You can specialize in Economic and Community Development, just as an example. If you're interested in Human Resources, you can take that core certification course. And after you want to get a specialty, you might decide that because you are so interested in human resources that you want to focus on county operations and management. So once again, to sum up, the core certification is 9 required courses, and when you actually move on beyond that and you get to the 18 hours annually, you can get that from a variety of different sources. And some of these things will be pre-approved. For example, if you are interested in, if you're accepted to the Georgia Leadership Program or a local leadership program, that type of thing is going to be considered to be approved, and that'll go towards your overall requirements for the 18 hours of continuing education annually. Now, each one of you is in your packet and then also out at the registration desk. I want to point this out to you. There's the ACCG Lifelong Learning Academy pamphlet. This is a great pamphlet. On the interior of it, but also on the back, is your schedule. We've designed this so that you can actually complete all of your basic required courses in a year, in a single year. You can do it. And we've tried to outline that very clearly for you. We want you to have a pathway to success. One thing I want to point out, in the interior of the pamphlet, under County Governing 101, the date under Plan C is not correct. The date in the pamphlet says April the 29th to the 30th. The actual dates are April 28th to 29th. On the back, it is correct. We discovered that and wanted to make sure we pointed that out to you. So if you need more information, you can ask myself, you can ask Kitty Schellenberger, you can ask Carol Baker. Any of us will be able to help you, and also refer back to your pamphlet. I wanted to remind you of one other thing. We gave you that bookmark. It's in you. We tried to put them inside of your handbook for county commissioners. So if you don't want to carry this around, you can put that bookmark up on your refrigerator, and that'll give you a good outline too of your pathway to success. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over, and we'll continue our program. Thank you.